Good evening. Welcome to the St. Martin Parish Council regular meeting of March 3rd, 2026 at 5 o'clock in the Carol Fugely meeting room of the St. Martin Parish Government Annex Building. Please silence all cell phones and remove all hats. The public may comment upon any item which requires a vote by the St. Martin Parish Council. We ask that you fill out a request to speak form located in the back of the room. Once completed, you're to bring it to the sheriff deputy who will give it to me. I would like to call the meeting to order with a prayer led by Council Clerk Ms. Brooke Thibodeau.
We, the members of the St. Martin Parish Council, having been chosen to represent the people of the parish, beg of thee, Almighty God, to enlighten our minds so that our work will be just and fair in all things. Give us the courage and strength to fulfill our duties according to the laws of the land, and in so doing, fulfilling also thy holy will on earth and in heaven, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Vincent, would you lead us in the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Everyone's present except Mr. Corville is excused.
Approval of minutes, regular meeting of February 3rd, 2026.
I need a motion and a second to approve minutes. I have a motion by Mr. Melisson, second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Persons to address the council, there is none. Special Business A, Parish President Pete Delcom to present a proclamation to the American Red Cross proclaiming March 2026 as Red Cross Month.
Mr. Delcom.
Very happy to the duty to read this proclamation, American Red Cross Month. In March, we celebrate American Red Cross Month by honoring our neighbors who make it humanitarian mission possible in St. Martin Parish. Every day, their acts of kindness changes lives, bringing relief, comfort, and hope when help can't wait. This compassionate spirit runs deep in our community, just as it has for 145 years through the American Red Cross. Whereas last year, the Capital West chapter assisted 632 families while responding to more than 500 disasters to deliver food, shelter, and comfort. Whereas the Capital West chapter provided over $452,320 in immediate financial assistance, helping families replace essentials, secure temporary housing, and begin the path to recovery. Whereas last year, the Capital West chapter installed 1,619 free smoke alarms, making 645 households safer. Whereas in 2025, the Red Cross proudly supported nearly 2,000 Louisiana military members, veterans, their families, and caregivers as they cope with the challenges of service. Whereas 2,183 Louisiana Red Cross volunteers, the lifeblood of the Red Cross, responded to the call to provide relief to families who experienced the worst days of their lives. Whereas 9,700 people enrolled in Red Cross first aid, CPR, and AED training courses, helping to make Louisiana more resilient in the event of a disaster. Today, those who serve with the Capital West chapter of the American Red Cross light the way during emergencies, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort after disasters, providing a safe, life-saving blood supply for patients facing conditions such as cancer treatments, childbirth complications, or traumatic injuries, assisting military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global support, or empowering individuals with skills like first aid and CPR that saves lives. These collective efforts are a powerful reminder that the strength of our community lies in our shared commitment to one another. As we mark Red Cross Month, let us celebrate our local heroes and resolve to continue lifting each other up so no one faces an emergency alone. Now, therefore, I, Pete Delcom, President of the St. Martin Parish, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of St. Martin Parish to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this third day of March in the year of our Lord 2026, and of the parish of St. Martin, Louisiana. St. Martin Parish Government, Pete Delcom. To the Red Cross and to the participants here, thank you very much for an unselfish and deserving. The work that you do is just, I read instances of what you do time and time again, over and above, and the numbers just astound me. And just, I'm very pleased and honored that y'all would work in this community for the help of St. Martin Parish and the people that deserve it. Thank you very much.
Do we have any representatives from Red Cross here tonight?
No. In their absence, I do proclaim this, and this plaque will definitely be given to them to hang in honor. And as I said, and as I just read, thank God for the Red Cross.
Thank you.
B, council to meet as a Board of Adjustment to consider granting an exception to Chelsea Abear and Allison Robin to move a single-family mobile home on property zoned I-1 Light Industrial located at 3554 Main Highway, lot number 14, parcel ID 06802B4025, Brobridge, District 7.
I need a motion and a second to grant the exception. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Louvier. Call for the vote.
C, council to meet as a Board of Adjustment to consider granting an exception to Cody Broussard and Carly Louvier to move a single-family mobile home on property zoned I-1 Light Industrial located at 5650 A1 West Weber Highway, lot number 10, St. Martinville, District 3.
I need a motion and a second to grant the exception. I have a motion by Ms. Narcisse, second by Mr. Louvier. Call for the vote.
D, council to meet as a Board of Adjustment to consider granting an exception to Nick and Kayla Dodge, Wildflower Estates LLC, to build duplexes, R3 multifamily residential uses on property zoned I-1 Light Industrial, located at TBD Coto Rodere Highway, parcel ID 04202B3149, Lot 1, Brobridge, District 8.
I need a motion and a second to grant the exception. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Council to meet as a Board of Adjustment to consider granting an exception to Nick and Kayla Dodge, Wildflower Estates LLC, to build duplexes, R3 multifamily residential uses on property zoned I-1 Light Industrial, located at TBD Coto Rodere Highway, parcel ID 04202B3149, Lot 2, Brobridge, District 8.
I need a motion and a second to grant the exception. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Council to meet as a Board of Adjustment to consider granting an exception to Nick and Kayla Dodge, Wildflower Estates LLC, to build duplexes, R3 multifamily residential uses on property zoned I-1 Light Industrial, located at TBD Coto Rodere Highway, parcel ID 04202B3149, Lot 3, Brobridge, District 8.
I need a motion and a second to grant this exception. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, seconded by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
G, council to meet as a Board of Adjustment to consider granting an exception to Spoonbill Properties LLC, Steve Crater, to move a single-family mobile home on property zone C2 General Commercial located at 5835 Main Highway, St. Martinville, District 2.
I need a motion and a second to grant the exception. I have a motion by Ms. Jean-Baptiste, seconded by Mr. Louviere. Call for the vote.
H, rule to show cause to address nuisance property located at 1641 Burton Plantation Highway, St. Martinville, District 1, property owned by Randy and Courtney Bishop.
Ms. Alimo?
Good afternoon, everyone. The property at 1641 Burton Plantation Highway is owned by Randy and Courtney Bishop. Let's see. I was trying to shuffle my papers around earlier. Okay, there you go. So the nature of the complaint that was submitted was all of the above: grass, trash, abandoned structures. It's mostly to the rear of the property. As you can see, I'm not too sure if the bishops are here this afternoon. Hi, you can come up to the podium. The nature of the complaint, like I said, was all of the above. The front of their property is clean. It's fairly clean. It's just to the rear of the property. I know there's pictures of the crawfish cages and those boats. That is very clean because I have pictures from the front of the property. It's just the rear of the property where the camper and the boat are. It's very overgrown, but I haven't been able to speak to you or
Yes,
anything,
so-
so I don't know.
Right on the side of this building here.
Like
This-
I have these pictures that are up there.
Okay, so the side of the building, the shed, that's actually my next door neighbor's property, not mine.
Okay, okay.
On the opposite side of, with that little shed that you're looking at there.
The wooden shed
Yes.
right there, that's yours?
That's mine, yes.
Okay, it's directly behind it though.
If, no, so
So the building with the green roof, is that yours?
side view,
Now look.
What's that?
He's asking you a
Is
question.
the building with the green roof, is that your house? Is that your place?
no,
That's your neighbors? Okay.
which is my father-in-law, he's here. Part of the complaint was, abandoned vehicles, which nothing's really abandoned. We have some antiques, he has antique cars in the back. I'm a fisherman, so I have boats, crawfish traps.
Yeah, the crawfish traps, that wasn't in there.
Okay.
But it was in the picture, but we
Yeah,
had
yeah,
to
yeah.
get the
No,
picture. That's
no,
why I'm
I-
saying, I just kind of wanted to
Yeah.
put that on record.
So,
It's not the crawfish
This picture right
traps.
here is from the next door neighbor that called it in, just to put some history behind it. The reason why this was called in is because I asked them not to drive across my property with our four-wheelers, and she made sure that everybody knew that she was calling this in to basically get back at me.
Yeah, no, that wasn't,
And I actually have
Okay.
here.
Yeah, can we see the other pictures to see what actually is your property?
Okay, so that's my opinion. If you go to another one, where you're looking to, keep on. Okay, so you see where the little lean-to is?
Uh-huh.
That's actually on my father-in-law's property.
So with the little golf cart, the white golf cart, I guess, that's under there,
The golf cart, that's all on my father-in-law's property.
so that's not your property?
your property lines though, or,
Well, so this is what happened. We just built a shop. And that's what some of this is because we removed stuff from where the shop is now to build a new shop. So when we built the shop, after it was built, we realized that it was too close to the property line, and actually the property line passed through the shop. So we came and we moved the property line 20 or 25 feet over to where it's at now.
when did you do that?
That was back in November.
You came here or you went to the clerk?
Oh, we came-
Y'all had a
we
survey
did.
dude and y'all filed at the clerk of court's office?
Yes.
Yeah, did you
Yes.
recorded that survey?
Correct.
You did or the
No, no.
survey did? The surveyor did?
The lawyer did, I believe.
Okay, Yeah, because that's not up to date then. Okay. Yeah, because it's not reflecting it just yet. So this is your shed, the one to the right.
So the one to my right is my shed. The lean-to is now technically on my father-in-law's property.
So hearing all this, I would move that we defer this to the next meeting.
I was
Maybe
gonna-
get some more information on it.
Correct.
And try to figure out where the property lines are and exactly what, what's what. I don't think it's fair for us to do this with.
No, I don't, I was going to say, I don't think that's fair to you or anything like that. So the property, so everything in the back though would be for your neighbor, which is your father-in-law.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
So I make a motion to defer to the next meeting. I have a second by Mr. Louvier. Call for the vote. Ms. Allen will get in touch with you, and then y'all can figure it out, and they'll come back to the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ordinance is introduced for public hearing.
I need a motion and a second to open public hearing. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Portier. Call for the vote.
Summary number 1538 OR, an ordinance amending Chapter 19, St. Martin Parish zoning ordinance, Appendix D, Parish Road zoning data sheets of the Code of Ordinances for the St. Martin Parish government by amending the zoning classification district on a portion of a road zoned in the original ordinance adopted on December 18, 1995, 1471 Old Spanish Trail Highway.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this item? I have a request to speak formed by Mr. David Pugh. If you want to come to the podium, state your name. Yep.
All right, this is the third time I go through this, but if I got something wrong, y'all correct me, okay? I'm not sure I got all the numbers right. I feel like a broken record. Here we go, this industrial 3 thing again. I never thought we'd do it again, but when you give this people this industrial 3, it opens the door to so many things. Look what happened to Greenpoint. It started out to fill up a hole, now they end up in a mountain. Want some more land, you increase that into a mountain, bigger than that. Then the DEQ gave them permit to modify the way they do things, so now it's going on for another 5 years. And now we want to bring in all kinds of garbage trucks all day long, bringing in recyclables. I wish Miss Stelly was here, because I was going to ask her. In the paper, she says this is a good fit for the area. I don't see how that can be. There's people that live around that area, and we want to bring in all these trucks every day. I don't see it. I don't see that being a good fit. I found several better places, and these are from yesterday. First of all, you got Martin Mills. There's all kinds of stuff, area there that's not being used. Got wide open spaces. They got all kinds of buildings. That's a good place. On Highway 92, between Highway 90 and Duchamp Road, there's a building for sale or lease. It's empty. And then there's a large vacant lot. It's very near Highway 90. Great access. The Spanish Trail Industrial Site, they have all these empty safe source buildings doing nothing. They got ramps, unloading, loading docks, all kinds of places. And they also have acres and acres for sale, wide open spaces. That's the best access available. You got Highway 182 with a $2 million driveway. Then you can go out on the other side and go out to Highway 90. Gravy train, you don't even have to get into the crowded area of Cade. They'd be way away from it. And the Smeda Industrial Park, at one of these meetings, Miss Stelly, I wanted to ask her that again. She claimed that Smeda Park was full. Yesterday, I see 3 vacant buildings over there for sale or lease. There are 7 lots for sale. And again, they have great access to Highway 90. They don't have to come near anybody. So there's 6 different buildings in St. Martin Parish ready to go. And there's 8 industrial lots ready for sale. And then there's too many to count up at the Spanish Trail Park. It's wide open, lots of room. And there's 3 homes really, really close to this place. And the parking lot where they're gonna be is right down the hill. And I don't think it has a 300-foot buffer. I'm sure it doesn't. I don't know if that's a requirement or you have to make a variance on that. There's a trailer, it'll be right on the edge of this people's parking lot, where the trucks are gonna be going all day around, making their circles, going over the scale. You're gonna make their life miserable. That's one family. And there's another one, their nephew there. And there's another guy, he just moved in there, right down by the coulee. Those three lives are gonna be disturbed horribly. I've talked to about, in the area, I've talked to about 12 people. A couple of them are here today, that they don't want this thing. They never asked for anything like this. You're putting I-3 on top of them. They didn't come here, they didn't come to I-3, you're putting I-3 on them. One of them, he's a retired deputy from Rapides Parish. He moved down there by the coulee, bought him a house. He was up there in Rapides Parish. He moved away because they were getting ready to put those CO2 wells into his house, right near his neighborhood, the CO2 injection places. He wanted to get away from that. So he comes down here, and now he's gonna get A3, Industrial 3 landed on top of him. That's a shame. You've got all kinds of long-time generation families down here. You got the Huvals, you got the Walkers, you got the Baylots, you got the Gilbos. You got a 20-year National Guard veteran. He lives over there. And he's a retired public safety officer. He worked for the state for over 20 years. He retired from there. But it really doesn't matter what they did. Everybody around there is going to be affected by this second mistake. Nobody asked for that I-3. We're putting it on them. Greenpoint started small. They only wanted us a little bit. And now look what happened. We've got the most everlasting monstrosity in Acadiana. And the necessary item for that happened right here. It has to be I-3. DEQ, if you give them the I-3, you can't count on them at all. The DEQ is one hollow organization. They're bureaucratic paper pushers. They're no help. But it happens right here. You give them the I-3, there's so much can go wrong. Is everybody familiar with all the ugly things that can happen at I-3? Just a few of them, junkyard, salvage. You can haul garbage on there all day long and bundle it up. Transfer stations, waste pickup stations, solid industrial waste, incineration sites, infectious waste site, off-site storage, treatment, disposal of non-hazardous oil field waste. All of those things can go into I-3. You might say that you're going to put limits on this guy. We'll see. I don't know. The law can do some funny things. And why do they need 12 acres? I gave you a dozen better places than this. Not crowded, easy access. Why do they need 12 acres? And why do they need it right here next to people's homes? It's got to be because they're shaking hands with Mr. Swear over there at Greenpoint. I think they got some other things going on here. There's been that little office building that hasn't been used for a long time. It's been very busy. And there's worse things coming. I think these guys are just a Trojan horse. They can do their little business, and then we're going to have troubles. Here's a couple of scenarios I came up with. I hope they can't come true, but I got to ask the lawyer man here. What if they come back to you right here with a plan 6 months from now? They said, well, look, we got our I-3. We're doing pretty good. We want tires. We want mulch. We want white goods. We want to use one of these other buildings, bring all these white goods in there, take them apart. And we'll be real quiet. We promise to be quiet. We'll do this inside. Now you can have all kinds of more traffic. Tires, mulch, white goods. And if they come up here and this parish says, no, that's not in your rules. That's not in the parameters we gave you. And they say, well, you already gave us I-3. We're going to take you to court. We want to use this I-3 for I-3 purposes. Can you promise that you would win that? Or will they get their way?
So this is public discussion on what they're trying to do, and the council, they're not giving it an I-3 designation across the board. The planning and zoning have made a recommendation
Right.
to limit it to certain circumstances, and that's what the council has to decide.
Right.
I don't speak for the council how they vote, but it's, from my understanding, from what the planning and zoning, what's on the table tonight, is to limit it to this sort of business that they're trying to operate. Anything further outside of the scope that the council limits would have to come back here to the council and the Planning and Zoning Commission and do it over again.
I understand that. I get it. They're gonna say no. This whole council can say no, like they have done before. There's a man came in, he wanted video poker a couple of years ago. The whole council says, no, we got enough of it. We don't want it. He went up and got a permit. It come licensed. He come back there. Mr. Caesar was sitting right over there and he says, we gotta let him have it. We can't go to court over this. They're gonna beat us. So the man got his video poker. The man got his way. If they come back here and say, look, I got a procedure here. The DEQ says it's fine for me to play with tires. I want to do I3 things on this land with tires and white goods and mulch. And this whole parish can say no. Can they go to court and can you win? Can you say, no, the parish won't
I
let you
can't,
have it?
we can't stop someone from exercising their rights on how to determine what they want to do with their land.
Right.
All the council could do is vote on land suitability. If it goes past this, it's up to a man or a woman in a black robe.
Okay.
And the parish will defend whatever decisions that the council makes and in accordance with our ordinances. But what a man and a woman does in a black robe, that's gonna be up to the judicial system. I cannot predict what happens. I cannot predict how these guys vote.
That's what I thought. We can't guarantee what's gonna happen with that I3. You can put all the fence guards you want. You can put fence guardrails. You open that box, you got I3. They're gonna come back for something else. And another question here, what if they want to make a deal with the guy next door? They say, look, he's running out of room. Maybe we can use all these acres in the back of your buildings. Come on, we're gonna dig a hole, we'll be real good. We take our soil samples and the DEQ says, this property's fine. We don't care. It's I3, the soil samples work, the water's this, that, and this and that, it's quite a few things you have to do to get your green point, a type 3 permit. A lot of stuff you gotta do. One of them's a core sample, check dirt. DEQ says, that's fine. So Mr. Swear and these guys come up and say, I got I3. We want to put some more dump site back here. You guys are going to say no. Carla promised me, says, while she's here, there'll never be another dump site. Well, this is awful close, what's going on right now. But let's say they come back here again. The man in the robe is going to have to make the decision. Is that the way it's going to be? They're going to come here and say, we want to use this land in the back to be some more a green point.
Mr. Swear, I don't want to cut you off, but on this right here, so we if we do approve, we're approving with the stipulations that were put on it. If they come back and they want to take in a business partner, or they want to do something, they can't. The property is not zoned that way. The zoning regulation, even though it's a I3, doesn't give them the proper authority to do that. They'd have to come back to planning zoning, vet the procedure all over again. I understand what you're saying about, and what Lee's saying about we get sued every day. That's what they make lawyers for. But at the end of the day, that's out of our control. But I can tell you this, our ordinances in the parish, the only ordinances that we have in the parish that can't be tripped by state or federal government is our zoning ordinances. That's our strongest ordinances we have. They do not get trumped by state and federal. With the regulations and stuff, what the planning and zoning put on this, if they do anything besides what's being permitted to do, if we allow this to happen, that's all they can do. It's gonna be a transfer station for cardboards, plastics, and that's about it. It's not for batteries, it's not for tires, it's not for anything like that. If they'd wanna do that, they'd have to go back to planning and zoning and start all over from the scratch again.
And then if you say no, this expert lawyer just told me that the man and the judge can say, you gotta give it to him. The
But-
same thing happened with the video poker.
And I agree with you, because anything happens, at any point in time, if you don't agree with somebody, you can take them to court and sue them, but that doesn't mean you're gonna win.
Don't open that box. Don't open the I3 box. You guarantee you won't have it. There's better places for this. I just named 8 of them, 10 of them. There's 10 better places than this. There's a reason they want to be there. All right. All right. Okay. I'm pretty sure these people, correct me if I'm wrong, these people, they're going to be working with masks, maybe even hazmat suits. And when you compress plastic over and over, you do give off a gas. Now, is that gas going to escape anywhere? Is that going to be a problem?
Yeah, we can't have it's not a public hearing.
All right. Well, they're going to be quiet. But I'm sure they're gonna be wearing these hazardous materials, masks, things like that. So maybe that's gonna drift down and hit those neighbors down there. Does that sound like a good fit for this area? There's industrial parks that are ready for that. There's people not anywhere around these industrial parks. This does not belong near people's houses. A good fit? No. It's in this newspaper that Miss Stelly, she said this is a good fit for the area. Impossible. I think this is a Trojan horse. There's more coming. And we just can't open to I-3 again. He said originally at the zoning meeting, it was only 25,000 customers, 25 cars, 25 trucks a day. Okay. Then the next meeting, the last one we had right here, the other man stands up and says, well, we want to get 20,000 more. We're hoping to do that. Now you have 45,000 customers. That's fair enough to say it's going to be 45 trucks a day. They also claim that they're, during their 10-hour window, the 8 hours in the middle of the day are going to be the busy ones. Now, if you got 40 vehicles coming in there during a period of 8 hours, I call that like 80 episodes, 80 events. 40 trucks in, 40 trucks out. That's 80 times you're going to be moving on and off of that highway. That's, divide that by 8 hours. My math, I'm sure, is right. You got 80 of these events during a period of 8 hours. That's 10 every hour. So that's every 6 minutes, you got a truck coming in or coming out of that place. A big garbage truck right in the middle of 182, right in the middle of people's homes. Those poor people next to them are not going to get any rest at all. Every 6 minutes, we've been here 30 minutes. As long as we've been here, that would be five episodes on average. Now, you know some traffic is going to get stacked up on 182 while they're waiting to climb that hill. It's not a good fit. This belongs in industrial parks. It does not belong here. I'm serious. I mean, that's for real. 80 trucks. 80 episodes, 40 different trucks every day. 40 garbage trucks every day. 40 in, 40 out. 80 times on and off that highway. Mr. Rowland, the zoning guy, he was real concerned about that traffic. He talked about that traffic with these guys for about 10 minutes. They said they're going to reroute things. I think their answer was they're going to parade them in front of down Highway 92, right in front of another nice little road. And then they're going to parade 40 garbage trucks a day in front of Episcopal School of Acadiana, the premier school in this whole area. We're going to drag garbage trucks right up and down them, in front of them all day long. And this job thing, the 25 jobs, that shouldn't even be in the equation. Shouldn't even be talked about. Because if you got Safe Source, that'll drag 200 people to go find Safe Source. If these guys are where they're supposed to be, there's 25 people that are going to find them. So 25 jobs don't need to be at this place. They'll find them. And if DEQ ever gets involved with them, forget about it. There won't be any help at all. Who will enforce these? Let's say they're not doing their job right. Who's going to enforce this? They're getting noisy. These things are outside. Who's going to enforce their if they violate something? Is that DEQ or is that zoning board?
Any violations of our ordinances is handled administratively through the nuisance process.
Okay.
Some of them have criminal aspects to it that could be enforced by the sheriff's office. That's done in-house.
So if they're noisy,
Violation of our ordinances.
if they're noisy, we call the nuisance department over here. If it's some odors and smells start coming out of it, if there's a bunch of noisy, it's too much dust, they're throwing dust all over these poor people, we call the nuisance department.
The noise should be directed towards the sheriff's office because it has a criminal penalty. We can't enforce criminal penalties.
Okay. How much weight does the recommendation of the zoning board carry right here tonight? Or are you all independent, or do you take the voice of the zoning board as like really important? Is it really high? Does it weigh a lot?
Mr. Pugh, I don't think it's a fair question to ask each and every councilman. I'll tell you this much, though. I can speak for myself on there. So these people volunteer time to serve on these boards. We go through, we vet these people out, and I know I'm on my third one. My father-in-law served only for 30 years. When I got elected, he had to step down because of the ethics laws. So the second guy, the next guy I put when I got in, was served, and he did a very good job. I thought he did a very good job, and he brought a lot of knowledge. And he had an incident, he passed away. The last guy I brought in owned the construction business, did engineering. So if you look at, if you're gonna ask what kind of credibility they have, I'd say they have a lot of credibility.
I would agree. I want to ask how much weight that carries.
It's an advisory committee, so each and every council member takes into consideration what their advice was on it.
I'm not qualifying their patriotism, if you would, or their dedication, or their knowledge, or their talents, or their brains at all. I don't think they got the full picture. Ms. Stelly told them the Smeda Park was full, not even close to full. There's 2 or 3 buildings being built right now. They didn't get the full picture. These guys never talked about, they talked about 25 trucks. They didn't talk about 40, 45 trucks. And they didn't. Yeah, those are the 2 big things. They had opportunities. Nobody talked about other places to go. I did, but Mrs. Stelly gave them some bad information. And these guys didn't say as much trucks are coming as they want to have. Mr. Rowland was very concerned about that. I think he might have voted no if he knew that these guys were going to bring in twice as many trucks as they talked about that night. And when they want to squeeze the hours too, they talked about 7 to 5 days a week. Now, the last meeting, this guy stands up and says, well, if we have a bad day, a holiday, we want to be able to work a little overtime, or we might want to work Saturday. The zoning board didn't hear that one either. There's 2 things they've fudged on already. Now, can you imagine, the trucks are going through there all day. Something happened, now you got to work till 6 o'clock at night. You got to listen to that crap. No, this is bad. This is a bad thing. And I don't know. It's like they know something already. They've already built their scale. I don't know if anybody knows that one. They built the scale that they need. 20, 35 years, this building's been here without a scale. Now they need a scale for their business. They've already built it. Do they know something I don't know? How can that be? How can you? It's like you move in before you even buy the house. I can't do that. When I had to buy my house, I couldn't move in. I had to wait till I got closed. Then I could move in my furniture. I guess if they want to spend money on a scale, that's up to them. But I don't believe in that coincidence. And then there's something else. I don't know what went on here, but the whispering guys. These 2 lawyers there during that process, during the zoning process, it was still going on. Public debate was still going on. These 2 get over in the corner, start whispering in each other's ears. It's sad. I mean, they were up there right in each other's ears, and nobody could hear anything they said. I don't know what they were talking about. A man asked them what they were talking about. Mr. Durio wouldn't tell him. Were they trying to influence this guy and what he's going to write? The process is a little bit faulty, but it shouldn't even be a process. I-3 just doesn't belong near anybody. We've already done it once. The people on the wall, they cursed us over there. There's going to be some more bad things coming. I got a bad feeling.
Thank you, Mr. Pugh.
All right? I sure hope you vote. My way. Correct. Think about the people, not about Lafayette's problems. Think about the neighborhood, not Lafayette's troubles. We don't need to take care of their garbage. Oh, and they want to add 20,000 new customers. Well, what happens when they want to go, let's say they go for Iberia? Why not? Make some more money. Let's go to Iberia Parish. Let's get St. Martin Parish. We used to recycle. Now you got maybe 80,000 people. It's getting close to that Baton Rouge thing that you don't want to see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Summary number 1539 OR, an ordinance to authorize St. Martin Parish government to sell by public disposition all of its interest in that certain tract of land situated in the parish of St. Martin, Louisiana, that was adjudicated to St. Martin Parish government by tax deed recorded in the records of St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, under entry number 528053, all in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2201 et sec.
Is there anybody here who wishes to speak on this item?
Can we pause real quick? The live stream for- But it's still live. We'll see if the
This
sound.
has to be audio, it doesn't have to be visual.
Yeah.
It may correct on the next one.
We're gonna pause for a brief moment. We're having trouble with our audio and video system right now. Yeah.
She might not be able to hear this because we're not talking.
You want me to stand up and sing? All right.
Summary number 1540 OR, an ordinance to authorize St. Martin Parish government to sell by public disposition all of its interest in that certain tract of land situated in the parish of St. Martin, Louisiana, that was adjudicated to St. Martin Parish government by tax deed recorded in the records of St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, under entry number 518926, all in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2201 et sec.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on this item? I need a motion and a second to close public hearing. I have a motion by Mr. Clay, second by Mr. Melanson. Call for the vote.
Summary number 1538 OR, an ordinance amending Chapter 19, St. Martin Parish Zoning Ordinance, Appendix D, Parish Road Zoning Data Sheets of the Code of Ordinances for the St. Martin Parish Government by amending the zoning classification district on a portion of a road zoned in the original ordinance adopted on December 18, 1995, 1471 Old Spanish Trail Highway.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Ms. Jean-Baptiste, seconded by Mr. Clay. Ms. Jean-Baptiste has something she wants to say?
Yeah, I want to just kind of clear up a couple of things. I've taken into consideration everything that's been said and has been presenting to me. I also went to the planning and zoning meeting as well. And when looking at all of this, there's a couple of things. I actually did go out and visit one of the sites in Opelousas. This is not a recycling plant. It's strictly for sorting and packaging. And so I want to make sure we understand that. They're not bringing in all different types of trash. So there's not going to be hazmat suits, a mask and all of that has to be worn to deal with those types of items. And from what I've seen, and in talking with the people at the other plant, what they're looking to duplicate, it's literally conveyor belt sorting plastic cans, paper, newspaper, boxes. It'll be bundled up, and then that's going to go to a recycling plant. So there's no recycling at all that's actually happening at that plant, from what I understand. Also, I did ask some questions and followed up with Ms. Morgan that they will be restricted to the types of things they're doing. So it's not going to be tires and some of the other things. And if they change ownership, if they do anything outside of that, that has to go back through the planning and zoning process, and any deviations would have to then come back to us. I did talk to Mr. Pugh when I did ran for office and said that I would not, and I'm not interested in bringing another dump site. I've worked, as you all know, diligently to not have a dump site next to that. In fact, when they were even looking at the rezoning, I raised a lot of questions about the zoning all the way up to Greenpoint. I wanted to make sure that there was no affiliation with Greenpoint, and there's none. And so even the buildings in between, the very first where the business would be in Greenpoint, those buildings are not part of that rezoning process to ensure that there would be some separation and distinction between Greenpoint and a dump site versus a sorting and packaging plant. I know this is not favorable because people think it's, well, it's trash, 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 but it's also part of the recycling process where not dealing with physically recycling, but people will get to, who wants to do green work with renewable resources, your papers, your cans, and so forth. And there's also some benefits where even if we personally donated, it could be contributions that's made to any other agencies, nonprofits, and so forth. So I've really taken into consideration, I went out there, I looked at the site, I visited site, I offered residents to come with me. I would take another trip. I did all that I thought from a due diligence standpoint to be able to look at, making sure that I'm protecting the residents, but also allowing people to have free rights of their property, to be able to sell it, to be able to use it, to be able to enjoy the benefits, no different than if we wanted to do it ourselves. I know there's been talks about other places, for example, Martin Mills, that's owned by the city, and there's already businesses that is tied up into that. I know we lost the not the solar plant, the PPE plant, but they have hopes of revitalizing that, and all of that property has been purchased, and so we can't just throw things in that point. So, yes, there may have been some other options, but when you look at a building that's there that can rust out and not get any use, and looking at the fact that there was all field and industrial work there, and some of the things in I-1 is a lot more hazardous than this renewable resource sorting and packaging plant. This is what I've taken into consideration. So I don't want the community to think I didn't take all of those factors into consideration, but I invested a lot of time going and looking and asking questions, blowing up Ms. Morgan's phones, following up with Parish President Delcom, and asking all of those questions. So I just wanted to, as a representative of District 2, put that presentation out there that I did do some due diligence with evaluating this project.
Thank you. Ms. Narcisse?
So I raised the question, after Mr. Pugh spoke between the numbers of presented the first time and I was at another meeting. So my question is, and I'll address you guys, have the number of trucks increased?
No, ma'am.
So it's still at the 25? That
would take.
So we
Yeah,
can't, so,
it's-
so we can't have a
Oh, okay.
conversation thing.
So, okay.
Yeah,
So-
we can't address it.
This person
I'll
can probably answer that. What I've got when I went back and followed up, that's the number that they're starting off with.
25?
25, roughly about 25. Everybody in the business has a desire to expand. So the second number that was given was the optimal, goal that they would like to reach, as expanding a business, but that's not concrete or guaranteed that it would actually expand to that number.
That's not what they plan on starting with.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't know the time frame that it would even take to get to that point.
So my concern is I'm very familiar with that area. I actually have family in that area and grew up sometime in that area. A lot of things have evolved. Just like right now, we're looking to possibly rezone for another type of business to come in. On the other side of the nature is that they do have residents that's surrounding that area. So even with the residents and just looking at the real estate, the property standings of it, is that that's even taken out of their control, because once this is rezoned and these type of, not just pointing at that type of industry, but those type of businesses come in, that plays a part on, their property that we get to dance on, their property value. It doesn't, even from the numbers, because I've had some realtors pull, it doesn't bring their value up. It actually brings their value down. So just, it does in business, there's all kind of shakes and rattles and rules. It does raise a lot of concerns, and I just wanted to let the people know that I do have some concerns. I have some ins, I have some outs. At the end of the day, I'm for the people. The people and the purpose and the plan. That's how I stand. So, however, I just wanted to let be known when he raised it about the trucks, but even at their property value, they've taken a hit already with businesses that have been brought there and things that we as a council couldn't do or enforce after because it just was in so many different hands. So we didn't, a decision was made by council. Cards were played by council, but when it came down to the building and the bricks of it, we didn't have that authority to make a decision or to pull the brakes. So I will be very honest, I'm still very, very, very concerned with that, for the people in that area, because they have voiced their concerns. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Narcisse. I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. You wanted to say
Yeah,
something
I
else?
needed
Ms.
to do the motion with the, a motion with the hours of operating to be the normal operating hours. To a substitute motion, that's what I needed to say for the normal operational hours,
As amended?
As is amended.
as amended,
So you want normal operating hours?
yes.
So it's gonna be I believe your motion is you wanna, what the planning and zoning recommended, except you wanna amend to normal operating hours.
Correct,
Of AWS.
yes. Monday through Friday.
Okay. We need a second.
I need a second. I have a second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Summary number 1539 OR, an ordinance to authorize St. Martin Parish government to sell by public disposition all of its interest in that certain tract of land situated in the parish of St. Martin, Louisiana, that was adjudicated to St. Martin Parish government by tax deed, recorded in the records of St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, under entry number 528053, all in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2201 et sec.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Mellison, second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Summary number 1540 OR, an ordinance to authorize St. Martin Parish government to sell by public disposition all of its interest in that certain tract of land situated in the parish of St. Martin, Louisiana, that was adjudicated to St. Martin Parish government by tax deed recorded in the records of St. Martin Parish, Louisiana, under entry number 518926, all in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2201 et sec.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Mellison, second by Mr. Louvier. Call for the vote.
Resolutions. Summary number 017 RS, a resolution opposing Class 6 injection wells designed for long-term geologic sequestration and capturing of carbon dioxide gases.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Mellison, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote.
Summary number 018 RS, a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president to execute for and on behalf of the St. Martin Parish government a certificate of substantial completion pertaining to the Boxcar Road roadside stabilization and road repairs project, St. Martin Parish, Louisiana.
I would like to defer this until the end of the meeting. Table table it to the end of the meeting.
Can we get a second?
We need a motion and a second. I got a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote.
Summary number 019RS, a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute change order number 2 in the amount of $1,000 increase and an 8-day contract time extension for the Henderson Water Level Control Structure Repairs Project by Reliant Industrial Solutions, LLC.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Summary number 020RS, a resolution committing the required local match for the expansion and renovation of the Central Office Complex Capital Outlay Project.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Portier, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote.
Summary number 021RS, a resolution proclaiming the week of April 19th through 25th, 2026 as National Library Week.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Ms. Jean-Baptiste, second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Summary number 022RS, a resolution proclaiming the week of April 6th through 10th, 2026 as National Community Development Week.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote.
Summary number 023RS, a resolution proclaiming the month of April 2026 as Fair Housing Month in St. Martin Parish.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote.
Summary number 024RS, a resolution authorizing the parish president to execute the First Amendment to the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement with the State of Louisiana Division of Administration for the St. Martin Consolidated Waterworks District Number 4 project, LAWSP 101001.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Louviere. Call for the vote.
Summary number 025RS, a resolution awarding the contract for the St. Martin Consolidated Waterworks District Number 4 Water Sector Program Contract Number 3, Waterwell Number 3 project to the lowest responsive bidder, ARL Construction Incorporated, in the amount of $4,490,392.90.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Clay, second by Mr. Louviere. Call for the vote.
Summary number 026RS, a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute change order number 1 in the amount of $382,190.95 increase and a 120-day contract time extension for the St. Martin Consolidated Waterworks District Number 4 Water Sector Program Contract Number 5C Distribution System Fire Hydrant Replacement and Meters Project by Core and Main, LP.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Clay, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote.
Summary number 027RS, a resolution appointing Russ Harris to fill the unexpired term of Joey Picard on the St. Martin Parish Planning Commission.
I have a motion by Chair, second by Mr. Melanson. Call for the vote.
Summary number 028RS, a resolution requesting our legislative delegation allocate $152,212.13 to the Seaver Road project and $532,789.64 to the Theobald Road Elevation Mill Patch and Overlay Project from the remaining funds from the I-10 Frontage Road Capital Outlay Project.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote.
Summary number 029RS, a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the City of St. Martinville for the Willis Canal Cleaning Project located in the City of St. Martinville.
I need a motion and a second. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Portier. Call for the vote. We have an extension this evening. Can I get a motion and a second to extend the agenda for resolution summary number 030-RS? I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, seconded by Mr. Clay. Call for the vote. Parish President to discuss.
I'm going to read it first.
You want to read it?
Summary number 030RS, a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute change order number 3 in the amount of $718,200 increase and a 75-day contract time extension for the Boxcar Road Roadside Stabilization and Road Repairs Project by Diverse Solutions, LLC.
Okay, as we well know, we had a Boxcar Road project. This was the project of the Vermilion River that separates St. Martin Parish and Lafayette Parish. And in that, it does curve, and in that curve, we were losing the embankment, and actually we had gotten to the point where we were losing the road. There are 8 residences in that vicinity, and without quick and immediate action, it would have taken the road out and then eventually taken out properties. So the council approved monies to be able to come in and take care of that issue. It was engineered, we went out, it was bid and contracted, and as you could see and was brought up earlier in the meeting, to the point where it's complete, with substantial completion being brought before the council. Last Thursday, as in today is Tuesday, last Thursday, it was brought to our attention that it appeared that the crack that had initially taken the initial area that was taken care of has continued down the road. Thursday, it was a crack. Friday, we went out there. I went out there personally with Mr. Jason Castile and took pictures. It had widened, and you could see inundation into the ground. When we came back Monday, it had actually sunk 15 inches, and that is the pictures that you now have. Due to the fact that it is in substantial completion and not completed, we have the opportunity to come back and do a change order to be able to take care of the area of concern. Basically, linear footage-wise, it is half of what the original project was. The original project was budgeted at 1.5. We are budgeting this one at $750,000. This was not anticipated, of course. It could not have been in any way, shape, or form. We could not have envisioned that this was going to happen or continue. We're going to go another 180 feet from where we had stopped the last project. The only difference now is that where we will stop this project, there is a 35-foot open space of ground before the embankment starts into the Vermilion River. The original project, the embankment came up to the area of the road that was being taken out. So we're assuming that the stabilization of that property is a lot more secure than what we were originally dealing with. So that being said, we are bringing this to you for approval, the funding of which was proven that we had additional funds remaining from the Herman Dupuy Road project, and we had additional funds actually remaining from the initial Boxcar Road project. So within the construction fund of St. Martin Parish government, we would be able to take care of this emergency project. Any questions?
Questions from the council? Mr. Alexander?
What happens if they don't complete in 75 days on this request?
Well, this request here is just a matter of they completed up to substantial completion the first portion of the project. I see no reason. The only thing that would deter would be the acceptance of the material, and the contractor said he saw no problem with that. So I don't, if approved, we can get this thing rolling. We can redo a new contract, get the material purchased, and I see no problem in getting this taken care of ASAP.
And do you justify 718,000 increase?
Yes, sir. It falls in line with what the original bid came in. The original bid was twice this amount. So taking half of that, it's right at 700,000, which is a little over 700,000, which falls in line with what the original bid. The original bid was the lowest bid taken. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 4 individuals that bid the project. It was the lowest bid that was accepted. So I think it's the best bang for the buck and the best, and it was done acceptable and done to completion and to the satisfaction of both the engineers and to St. Martin Parish government. So I do agree with the amount, and I do agree with with Diverse Solutions doing the additional change order. Yes, sir.
Any other questions, Mr. Melisson?
Yes, I have a couple. How deep is the sheet pile going? I know it says 179 lineal feet, but how deep are they putting in?
The original was 40 feet.
40 feet? Okay. Next question, just out of curiosity. Temporary signs, $3,500, and removal of signs and cleanup, $6,500. What kind of signs are we talking about here? It seems, I have no clue, it just seems excessive.
Well, they had barricades, and I mean, it is in both signs for Boxcar Road, signs on Chess Broussard Road. These are all things that need to be done it's following DOTD and safety procedures. The actual itemization of these, I'm not going to venture that, but I could.
No, so it's basically lump sum, but I guess what I'm saying, now we get to keep those signs once we're done?
Again, I'm not, I can get you that information.
And I'm just asking because if we're gonna spend that kind of money on signs, and if we can keep them somewhere for future use, I can
get you that information.
I was just curious. Okay, thank you.
Ms. Jean-Baptiste?
Yes, so we're looking at this just being an extension of the original boxcar
If you
project?
look at the pictures that were given, you can see that the end of where that bulkhead stops, it will begin there and come another 180 feet. And yes, ma'am, it is a continuation, and the crack just continued where we stopped. Yes, ma'am.
I guess I was just asking, because if we were gonna do a substantial completion, if the first part is completed, is this like a second phase of the first project?
You
or-
can call it a second phase, and had we waited a very short period of time after the substantial completion would have been completed, and this would have occurred, we would have had to have done this in a whole new project, going out to new bids. It would have been a new project. But being that it is a continuation of the original project, we have the ability to list it as a change order. The numbers are in line with what was originally bid, cut in half due to the linear footage. And I feel confident that we're not going to get a better bid, nor get someone in there in the time manner that we need to take care of the emergency situation.
Okay, I just wanted to know, like, from legal, can we do this just as an extension and not a separate project, being that we were completing the first part. I just want to make sure our Ts are crossed and Is are dotted with that.
I'm gonna read y'all what Louisiana says a change order is. Any contract modification that includes the alteration, deviation, addition, or omission as to a pre-existing public works contract. A change order within the scope means a change order that does not alter the nature of the thing being constructed. It's an integral part of the project. Change order outside the scope is a change order which alters the nature of the project being constructed, and it's not an integral part. The scope, as I understand it from the contract, is road stabilization and repair. So if it's all coming from the same road and we're stabilizing and it's a repair, I think it's an engineer question, but the engineer has assured us it's within the scope of the same project. If you do grant the change order, I think the substantial completion would need to wait because it's the same project. But that depends on how y'all vote, but I believe it falls in the scope, and that's on the engineer's recommendation.
The actual procedure is going to be exactly what was done before. The actual material will be the exact same material, and the finished product, you're not going to see any difference. It'll just continue another 180 feet.
And one more thing too, if the price, the unit prices have stayed the same, it doesn't alter the bid from the original bid. If the bid price has changed, like unit measures, then that would be more of a problem for rebidding. But if the price is the same, then it's not a problem. It's 38.
Mr. Louvier.
I'm on. I went to look at it today. It didn't look like 60 yards, but looking at this picture, it looks like it's 400 yards. But it's just a weird happening, I guess. The riprap didn't move at all, and the asphalt's just going straight down, and the crack. So it's kind of weird the way it looks. They still have one lane that they could use, which is what they had been using. I'm just giving information in case you had some questions on that stuff. And right after that, there's a shelf on the bank, on embankment. So it looks like that would, if we get it fixed, it would eliminate any further issues. There's further issues down the road, but right here is where it's the worst spot. So I'm just trying to clear it up. If y'all have some questions, y'all could ask, but kind of just because we want to put our eyes on it today, just to get a better scope of what's going on. The work that was done was great too. When it stopped, it continued.
If you look at the Vermilion River, the water is extremely low, and at the bottom of where the water table, where the water meets the embankment, there probably is a 6 to 10 foot where you can see where the water has dropped, and you can see areas of the embankment looking across the Vermilion where it just fell. Pretty much what just happened with this right here. You have the embankment coming down, and then you have a shelf just falling a couple of feet. And if you envision what you're seeing in the pictures, it's basically the same thing, but at the top of the road embankment. Now, is it because of the low water of the Vermilion? A question was raised about the pilings. It's half-inch pilings, and they're going 40 feet. And actually, the base of the Vermilion River is at about 30 feet. So we're going another 10 feet under the actual bottom of the Vermilion. So it's not going to wash out. So just if that's a concern or a question.
So the original project, we went right, look at it today. So when you turn in with a bulkhead where the railing starts to where it ends, that's the project we just completed?
Yes, sir.
And then, so the portion we seen was probably about from me to you, where they'd opened up in the road, and that's where the failure is at. Just because, just for sake of conversation, $718,000 increase. The way Mr. Louvier explained with the way they have the barricades now, and they can use that one lane, and you only have about, I think it's 5 or 6 houses maybe down there. Wouldn't you think if you have a better idea to bid this thing back out because of the amount of money that we're looking at for the price? Or are we saying that we're gonna get the exact same price, material, everything's gonna be the exact same price what he just bid on the first price? On the original project?
Well, if it's basically half of what the original project was 400 feet.
No, it looks like it's a lot longer than what we have left right there.
Mr. Jason here, Mr. Jason Castile, the original project was right at about 400 feet.
So from where the project's.
We're right at about 180 feet, so right at about half.
Yeah.
And the prices coming in are basically half of what the original contract came in at. Give or take a few dollars. It's not to the penny, but it's, so the project being the same and the numbers basically being the same, as Mr. Durio just pointed out, it would be acceptable in the form of a change order. Now, we do know that we did go as an abundance of caution. If you see, the embankment goes all the way up to where it's, there is a ledge, a precipice, and then it goes back up, whereas the original project, the embankment came all the way up to where it was compromised. We are going another 60 feet into elevation, a ground elevation that goes 30 to 35 feet from the road.
Would that be where the marker is at with the flag? With it, that a little more?
We actually marked it and we put a cone. So therefore, we're bringing the new bulkhead into stable, flat ground. We're not just stopping it at 100 feet. We're bringing it to stable, flat ground to where this should not be an issue again, where it has enough of a flat ground elevation that that should come into consideration.
Wait, so when the original project that was just completed a couple of weeks ago, where the part that failed, that's new asphalt that was put down right there, was that part of the project, original project?
Yes, sir. We actually went another 30 or 40 feet, I don't have the exact measurements, past where we ended it. There was some compromised areas of the asphalt, so we added another 40 feet. That way the continuity and the integrity and so forth were all the same.
So that piece where the new asphalt's at, where they don't have a bulkhead, but that part was done, that was in the original project that we just completed?
The asphalt?
The part that separated, the part that fell off, there's new asphalt where that part's at. That was a part of the original project?
The asphalt, but not the bulkhead.
Okay.
It did not go further with the bulkhead.
So they take that road, did they take that material down to the surface, or was that just an overlay?
It's just an overlay.
Mr. Mellison?
I'm sorry, no, I take that back. No, sir. They took it, all of that road was taken out. They came back in with a new subsurface, packed it, and then came back with a new road. I stand corrected. It is a new road.
Okay, because when we were looking at it, the material that's underneath the base right there, it's a sandy soil, it's not clay.
They came in with whatever DOTD approved. They came in, repacked it, and then came back and redid the road.
I was just wondering if it could have been a failure from the project itself.
No, because it's actually, the project itself, you can see there's a 15-inch drop as we speak. It's doing exactly what you're looking across the Vermilion and seeing that just drop due to conditions of the soil and conditions of the river.
Mr. Mellison?
Damn, I lost my train of thought. So obviously this is an urgent matter, but again, just asking for general knowledge here. I know Mr. Durio gave his opinion on the continuation of the project and the funding and whatnot. In your opinion, if we would decide to send this out to bid, if it's possible, how much, like, what kind of urgency are we talking about here? Just, again, I'm asking for general knowledge. I'm not trying to, it's not a gotcha question. What kind of urgency are we talking here? Since the project was somewhat completed, would we have time for this thing to go out to bid to see if there's a difference in price with someone else? Or, again, what's your opinion on that?
Well, there again, we had 4 original bidders, and this was the low bid. They had bids upwards of $2 million. 2 bids, one was 1.9, and one was 2. I can get you the exact numbers on that. One was a little bit lower, but then these diverse came in at, I think, 1.4 1.4 something, almost 1.5. So therefore, it was the lowest bid. And due to the fact that this has just occurred over the last 6 months, I don't anticipate going out to rebid that we're gonna get anything lower. Now, you can see that there's been a 15-inch drop of elevation and breakage in a 5-day period. So that being said, I would think that we could easily consider it as an emergency project due to what we've witnessed over the last 5 days. If we have the ability to get on it as quickly as possible, my suggestion, in my opinion, would be to do so.
And if we approve the project tonight, how soon would they be able to start on this project?
Well, we need to get another change order signed with the contractor and so forth. Once that's been done, that should be done in a relatively short period of time, a week. Mr. Durio putting the contract together, the change order, and then thereafter ordering the material. I think the material was like a 2-month delay, I say delay, or anticipated time of arrival. So we'd be looking at another 2 months. So we're March, April, hopefully into May, that we could coordinate everything and get this thing started again.
And the contractor would be able to start that soon?
Yeah, I talked to, it was Matt Duran, his son's company, and he said he would be ready and able as soon as the material comes in to continue the project.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Louvier?
So I have a question. There's a abnormally large mailbox, like right in the way of that, kind of in the way. How much we own past it from the center of the road out this way? Do you know the
Servitude?
yeah?
I wouldn't know, sir. I could find that information out for you.
Because there's no ditch, so it's hard to tell where the ditch is. The road is like really, really close to the. I mean, it's on the bayou. Like it's. I don't know. That's what I was just wondering.
I can get you that information, sir.
So, just for the sake of conversation, Mr. Louvier, I think this is what was always told to me. On our roadside ditches, most of where the roadside ditch, where the bucket hits on the back of the ditch, we usually got a foot, not even quarter foot sometimes at the most. So you can figure wherever the roadside ditch is at, you can figure up to 8 to 12 inches on the back of the bucket. It's probably where our servitude ends. That's the golden rule that's what they told me, yeah. So, yeah. All right. Mr. Alexander, you have something else you want to bring
Yeah,
up?
one more question, Mr. President. Is this project here is gonna help Chess Broussard Road? Is it gonna help Chess Broussard Road? What do you think?
Well, actually, if you've been out there and you've seen the Lafayette Parish is, when you're making the curve, Lafayette Parish is right there. And of course, the Vermilion is the boundary between the two. Chess Broussard is one of the, in fact, they have done the subsurface and they're going to begin the milling, and then thereafter the overlay. We've signed the intergovernmental agreement with Lafayette Consolidated Government, and we are doing a drainage project that intercedes and goes into Lafayette Parish into that lateral. So we're hoping to be able to take care of some of that pooling of water on the road with that project. So this project being completed, and hopefully by the summer, Chess Broussard, the road project will be completed, and the drainage project going into the Lafayette lateral will be completed. So it'll be three things on Chess Broussard that'll be taken care of in the immediate future.
Because, a lot of people use Chess Broussard Road to get to Lafayette shortcut.
Oh, yes, sir. That's why, well, like I said, we're in the process. Chess Broussard is next on the list to begin the milling process, and then thereafter, they're gonna come back and do the overlay. So that should be within the next couple of months, we'll have that completed also.
Ms. Vincent, you had a chance to go out there and look at it to see where the failure is at? You got it, did you have a chance to go to Boxcar Road and look at it to see?
If not lately.
Okay,
I
yeah.
plan to do that part of next week.
Yeah, so the portion that the first portion that's completed is the portion closest to Chess. That part's all done.
Yeah, this, I was looking at a picture a while ago.
This is on the far end.
Yeah, okay.
This would be away from
I'm
Chess.
going there next week.
Okay. No further questions? I need a motion and a second to approve. I have a motion by Ms. Jean-Baptiste, second by Mr. Mellison. Call for the vote. Yeah, so we're gonna go back to where we deferred for the substantial completion. So we're gonna defer that until the project is complete
I would defer to the next regular meeting.
and then defer it from there?
And then if we need to defer it again, that'll put us in the 60 to 70 day time period. We had spoke with the contractor and he was okay with deferring 30 days. It didn't interfere with the timelines. We didn't discuss after that, so I think we should defer till the April regular meeting. It may need to be deferred again, time will tell.
So we can't do the substantial completion until this whole project is completed, right?
No, I don't think it's appropriate right now because this is a continuation of the
Right.
same project. So I would defer, my recommendation, defer to the April regular meeting.
Okay, so I got a motion to defer to the April meeting.
Let me get the date real quick. April 7th.
The April 7th. I have a motion by Mr. Clay, second by Mr. Mellison. Call for the vote. Hoyt, need you to vote.
Just give me a second to get back. Ordinance introduced for publication. Summary number 1541 OR, an ordinance to amend Article 9 of Chapter 20 of the Code of Ordinances of the St. Martin Parish Government by the repeal, revision, enactment, and/or reenactment of Section 275F, all relative to the meetings for the Tourism Commission. Informational items not requiring council action.
Any comments from Parish President?
Yeah, I did put into your, before the meeting, back in '23, September of '23, there was a resolution, they were looking at the need of a juvenile facility. And the resolution read, a resolution recognizing the need for a regional juvenile justice district composed of parishes, et cetera, et cetera. So it was just a resolution recognizing the need. Mr. Bellard from St. Landry Parish is asking us to sign a written commitment. Really and truly, the project is not to the point or with any numbers that we could make a decision of a written, I don't think. I mean, but I think the resolution would take care of whatever the position of this is right now. I will send to Mr. Bellard a copy of our resolution from '23. And then if we decide to take any future action, I would suggest we get numbers and a more definitive direction as to where he's going with it before we commit ourselves. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. It is a previous resolution, and I'll send that with, and hopefully that takes care of his concern.
On this deal with the juvenile center right here, Sheriff Brew is our representative that represents on here. And so when we started this right here, it was to look at building a juvenile center. And I was there when we did the ordinance, the resolution approving it. But since then, it's come to light that they want to pass a tax to fund this thing. The problem with the tax is that what they want to pass, if you look at the numbers of what it costs us to house our juveniles, the tax would be about 4 or 5 times more than what we pay now. So, just my opinion, for what it's worth, I don't think it's feasible for us to do it.
You know, in that vein, Mr. Tozer, I agree. Until I see numbers,
Yeah.
until I see what the project will entail, I mean, there's no way I would even venture to make a decision. I mean, it's your decision, y'all decision, but, I mean, I need to see some numbers and some direction before we can make a qualified decision.
Yeah, and we've got a lot more important things, say more important things, a lot more things that cost us a lot more money than juveniles cost. It's not cheap to house a juvenile out of state. We know that because we've housed them. But if you look at the record of how much it's costing us to keep them now versus what we pay in a tax, and we put another burden on our taxpayers too. I'm not really looking at putting taxes on our taxpayers right now.
Well, I mean, if our ratio, if our portion would somewhat correlate or somewhat, instead of us having to send our juveniles to Mississippi or to North Louisiana or to the Florida parishes, if it would be somewhat correlating into that or somewhat, again, from a number standpoint, it wouldn't be economically feasible to have to pay 4 and 5 times over. Of course, I'm not, again, until we would see what the new facility, what their vision is and what they're going to be receiving in revenues, if it's not kosher with St. Martin Parish, I just don't see the numbers as of yet, so.
Okay. Any comments from the council, concerns, questions? Hearing none, I need a motion and a second to close. I have a motion by Mr. Melanson, second by Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Call for the vote. Meeting adjourned.